Today in Hollywood Happenings, we are looking at 2 movies coming to theaters. One already has some Oscar buzz.
That's right, and Jim Ferguson sat down with the stars of Brooklyn and Trumbo.
Right, and first of all, happy Thanksgiving to both of you.
Well, to you.
Okay. I'll say that again at the end. But yeah, both of these movies open tomorrow, by the way. We're talking about Brooklyn and Trumbo. And I highly recommend both of them. In fact, if I were doing my reviews now, I would give both of these movies an A.
An A?
Oh, wow.
I did both these interviews for Brian Cranston and Saoirse Ronan in Toronto back in September. You know, so we've held them a long time, waiting for the opening, and they're just opening this week.
But they're 2 very different movies.
Yeah, they are. Let's talk about Brooklyn first,
yeah.
because we have Saoirse Ronan, a wonderful young actress. Remember The Lovely Bones, Hannah? She's such a good young actress, and she plays an Irish immigrant that moves from Ireland because there's no work there, and her sister and the parish priest chip in to send her to Brooklyn to get a job, which she does. And it's her going through her loneliness, homesickness, and there's 2 love stories in the movie. It's a drama. There's no shoot-ups or anything like that. Just a beautiful, wonderful story. And here's my interview with Saoirse Ronan. Saoirse, congratulations. What a wonderful performance in my favorite film of the year, Brooklyn. Would you agree with me that it's a beautiful love story, but it's much more?
Yeah. I feel like the romance in this is a lovely element to the film, but really for me, something that John had said to me in rehearsals before we started the film was that ultimately this film is about a woman going through enough life, or a girl going through enough life experience to then being able to make a choice for herself.
Yes, beautiful story. And as you said, it's a lot of decisions that your character has to make.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes the movie so interesting.
Yeah, I think, you know, she goes through this very intense grief and homesickness and loneliness when she leaves. Because it wasn't her decision to leave, I think is the thing. And so from the moment she steps on that boat, it's a woman that passes on advice to her and wisdom to her. And then she meets more women in New York who kind of help to shape her. And gradually she very kind of slowly and gently gets over this sadness, and I don't think she even realises it, and really becomes her own person.
So it's not only a journey from Ireland to Brooklyn, but it's a journey to womanhood as well.
I think so. It's like it's a full circle that she goes through.
I have 3 scenes, short answers, if I throw them at you.
Okay, sure.
Okay, all right. Let's begin with on the boat leaving, the faces on the dock.
I think deep sadness.
Sadness, yeah.
Yeah.
The dinner scenes with Julia Walters and the girls.
Mania and excitement and youth, and I think the girls around that table keep Makio young as well. She kind of lives off them.
And finally, I loved the music in the film.
Yeah.
And the scene where it's a holiday dinner and the young man stands and sings in Gaelic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Did that get to you?
Yeah, it is even now, just thinking about it. Yeah, it was amazing. It was like, I remember I was really homesick that day, and I think we had just gotten to Montreal maybe, and Irla was there, and I don't know, just something about, I don't even speak Gaelic, but something about Irish music and Irish ballads being spoken as Gaeilge really touched all of us, and it kind of hits a deeper level of emotion. So we were all, I mean, even now I'm like almost crying thinking about it, but so beautiful.
Now that 20-year-old actress from Ireland, in my opinion, is one of the best young actresses in the world.
Oh, wow.
You heard her heavy Irish accent, but she can do American like she's an American teenager.
Wow.
I mean, she can do all different kinds of dialects. She's so talented. She's so nice. And boy, watch out. I hope she gets a nomination for Best Actress of the Year.
Wouldn't that be neat?
Brooklyn. Yeah.
Very mature young lady.
Yeah, and you said
Isn't she?
bring tissues to that movie.
Yes, it's a tearjerker.
Now,
It is a
Trumbo, is not necessarily a tearjerker?
Trumbo is history. It's a forgotten story in history, the 1940s and 50s. Brian Cranston plays Dylan Trumbo, a playwright, the highest paid playwright in Hollywood. 3 of his movies won Oscars, 30 Seconds Over Tokyo, Sabrina, and several others that he wrote too. But they never put his name on it because in the 1930s he voted for a party that was on the ballot, the Communist Party. And so they called him in 20 years later and said, "Are you a communist? You voted kind of," you know, it was awful. He went to prison for 6 years. Here's a great actor too, Brian Cranston, talking about Trumbo. You know, as a former government teacher, it's kind of ironic, I think, that the origins in the early 1940s of the Socialist Communist Party was not related that much to communism as we think of it in Russia. But it evolved that way, and it was totally wrong. That wasn't their philosophy. It was a political philosophy.
The political philosophy, it came out of the Depression, and it was the political arm of workers' rights and unions that, wow, here we are in the Depression, nobody has a job. Maybe the Communist Party, the American Communist Party, can put people to work.
Yeah.
As a viable option. Whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, it's okay. And the whole point of the movie is that it's okay to be wrong. It's all right. That you and I may disagree on certain points, and I will support you in what you have to say, and I don't want to squash your right to say it or your ability to say it. Nor should I expect anyone to do that to me, so that our voices are heard and let people decide what they feel.
That's beautifully stated. Are you going to run for something?
No.
You know, and of course that evolved eventually to the 1950s. Of course, Dalton was the 1940s, basically, and into the 50s. To Joseph McCarthy picked up the gamut from the Un-American Activities. And, of course, that led to his downfall when he tried to take on the United States Army against Dwight D. Eisenhower. And, of course, that wonderful attorney, Joseph Wells. I would imagine, would you agree with this, that Trumbo was cheering that on?
There was, any time there was an oppression of voice, he would be against it, you know, of any kind, even those who disagreed with him. For instance, now we've had like Ann Coulter come out and say some very inflammatory things about the film, probably not having seen it, but that doesn't stop her. And I know Dalton Trumbo would say, no, give her the microphone, give her the voice, let her speak.
Like he did with Hedda Hopper.
With Hedda Hopper. He liked Hedda Hopper.
He did.
He didn't dislike Hedda Hopper. They had diametrically opposed viewpoints, but he found there's a charm to her. And she was passionately believing in her side. It wasn't like she was grandstanding.
Same with John Wayne.
Same with John Wayne.
Yeah. I recommend both Brooklyn and Trumbo for the holidays. Okay, happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Again.
Oh, no, thank you, Jim.